Nirvana is releasing their third major album, and Roush is back in victory lane. Here is Mark Martin's 1993 Southern 500 race winning for Thunderbird. Howdy folks, it's Diecastbuffet here again, and welcome back to another NASCAR Diecast review. Today's review is a 1993 throwback. Yeah, this is a throwback, guys. I mean, go ahead, put Nirvana, put Pearl Jam, all those bands on the radio. It's 1993. It's Mark Martin. Yes, Mark Martin. It's his Southern 500 win from over, 25 years ago? I mean, my God, does that make me feel old? Holy cow, this is a diecast right here that is retro, vintage, and just pure beauty. I mean, my goodness, a 93 Thunderbird. I mean, how often do you see this race car on a diecast mold? Not often. This is just a work of beauty, and one of my favorite things that Lino Racing does is these NASCAR Classic ones. I mean, I love these things. NASCAR Classics, raced version, Southern 500 winner, Darlington, South Carolina, September 5th, 1993. You can scoot away to the back, and you can just see how it is just the straight-up normal Authentics packaging on the back, but then you flip it over to the front, and bam, it is retro. And we're going to go ahead and get this beautiful Thunderbird out of the package. Holy cow, man. What a diecast, and just the vintage feel of this thing. Oh my Jesus. First off, great job by Lionel getting this mold. I mean, it's got the winter circle wheels. It don't have those goofy big balloon tires the Racing Champion diecast had in the 90s. No, it's got the winter circle style wheels. Oh my Jesus, man. This is retro. This is a work of art, and it is a diecast that is actually race to win. The sheer amount of detail and grime on the front of this thing, I mean, it doesn't have confetti on it, but it does have the race markings. I'm sure there's no massive damage or anything on this thing. It took photos of the car from 1993, back when they didn't do these race to win diecast or anything like that, back when photography wasn't that accessible to the average person. Not everyone had a camera, not everyone had a cell phone, etc. Cell phones were like, they were so expensive, you know? And to think that they were able to go back and get this done on the diecast, it is an amazing job, and I applaud them for doing that. I know their quality sucks, but when it comes to stuff like this, they usually hit it out of the park. So over here on the hood, you got that vintage Valvoline font, the Valvoline ribbon. That's not a V, it's a ribbon. That is the official thing, the Valvoline ribbon. I believe that's what it's called. Over here on the nose, you got the number 6, Roush Racing. That's a throwback right there. If you're kind of young to the sport, and you really don't know, Roush Racing used to be a thing. It wasn't Roush Fenway Racing, it was just Roush Racing. That is a throwback right there. You can just see all the little grill inlets and whatnot. You can even see a little bit of tape there. And look at that. Thunderbird. Oh my goodness, man. Thunderbird. That is a throwback, man. I makes me think of Alan Kulwicki, and when they taped up the T and H, or did they tape it up or did they mark it off? I forget, but it said Underbird on it, and it was just so cool, man. It was just so cool. Definitely one of those really trademark things of the early 90s in NASCAR, and just, man, I gotta admit, man, they did a beautiful job. They had to get every single one of these sponsors to sign off to make this diecast, you know, to say, hey, Gatorade, can we use your vintage logo? Western Auto, 76, you think that would be a conflict of interest with Sunoco? No, they actually allowed them to put Union 76 on there. That is amazing. And then you got Moog, and you got Westco, just so many, or Wiseco, you got so many different, sponsors and everything. I mean, just look at the vintage fonts and everything. I think that each one of these brands had to sign off on this. They had to have the approval to make this diecast. Is absolutely amazing, and man, they did a great job on it. Holy cow. I remember my good buddy Race Day 2011 reviewing the 164 Gold Series version of this, and I was just, oh my goodness, it was like a kid in a candy store. I love that review. And I think it came in some NASCAR Authentics, which is the reason why I didn't pick it up in the Gold Series, because I was hoping it would be an Authentics. Sure enough, it was. I mean, just there's nothing better than this. I mean, you know, just vintage, just beautiful ducktail spoiler. One solid decal there, Valvoline, vintage Ford, Thunderbird, I mean, bumper. I mean, it's just, it does not get any better than that. And to think that the car this thing was replicating, which was a 93 Thunderbird, that some of those cars are in demolition derbies now. Put that in perspective. Put that in perspective. That this car was a 93 Thunderbird. And now we're seeing 93 Thunderbirds in demolition derbies and, you know, banger races, stuff like that, you know. It's pretty crazy. I will admit, though, I think I see a few decal issues, and, you know, this is Lionel, you're going to have these. I do see a little bit of a chip or something here, and that's unfortunate. Scoot on over here, we got one right here, and we got one right there, so one there, so not the best decal application job by Lionel, but the main thing about it, and in my opinion, the main thing that matters is that the decals are in the right place. It's just more or less the decals might have a few scrapes. And as someone who works on NASCAR diecasts and builds them, let me tell you, moving decals around sometimes causes that. It does cause that. Sometimes you have to move things around and it stretches and it tears, etc. That could be very well what happened. Who knows? But in my opinion, they did a great job on this. I mean, it's amazing how some of these cars are just absolute garbage, but some of these are just beautiful works of art. No sponsor on the corner panels, no sponsor on the deck lid. My God, man, I would love to have like 30 of these, like the same exact mold, and just make some late model stock cars with them, man. I love this mold, man. It's just, it's vintage. It's not too heavy. It's not too heavy, you know. It's got that winter circle 2002, 2001 kind of feel to it. Oh my God, man. I love it. This is one of the best diecasts, in my opinion, I have seen Lionel do. They did a fabulous job on this. And you got to think about it, folks. When they make these vintage cars, they have to literally take a mold to make one diecast. So they have to go through the testing and making sure it meets their standards. If they take a mold from 2001 that hasn't been used since 2001, they have to make sure that mold still works, right? So that costs money. Then they have to apply all the decals and manufacture it just for one diecast. So when you see these classic diecasts on the market, you really need to appreciate it, because realistically, these things are probably the most expensive ones to make because they only make so few of them. They don't make the entire line from 1993. You know, it'd be different if they made a whole bunch of these cars from 93. No, they don't do that. They only make a select few. So when you see these things out there in the market, take a moment to appreciate the amount of money Lionel spent on this mold. Sure, it was given to them, but they still have to make sure it's updated and up to code. So they still have to do things with it. But we got a treat right here, guys. Holy cow. We got ourselves a treat. This is the card that came in the NASCAR Authentics package. So you got NASCAR Classics up here. Established 1948. Raced version. Beautiful Mark Martin. Looks like a 124 Mark Martin diecast. Got Mark Martin's signature there. Southern 500 winner, Darlington, South Carolina, September 5th, 1993, Darlington Raceway. And let me tell you, man, if you follow Mark Martin on Instagram, let me tell you, he's actually active. You could tag him in almost any post, and he will like it. And if you make a post and you don't put the right year or the right race he ran at, whatever, he will call you out on it. He will say, this car was ran in 09 or 010, not 08 or 07. He's very active on social media, and that's why he is in my opinion, a living legend. Here's the back of it. So you got NASCAR Classics. Once again, you got the Darlington Raceway logo, raced version. 1993 Ford Thunderbird, number 6 Valvoline. Beautiful, man. I mean, you got the vintage fonts here. You know, September 5th, 93. He started 4th. They had a 351 laps. Jesus, man, that's a lot. He led 178 laps at Darlington. That is absolutely unfathomable 178 laps at Darlington is like leading 170 at Daytona. That's how hard it is, man. That is how hard it is to do that. Darlington, oh my god, man. And this is back before stage racing, before tapered spacers or any of this BS. This was a straight up man's man type of race. And margin of victory, 1.5 seconds. Amazing, man. I mean, and you gotta think about it, guys. Mark Martin actually helped get this car designed, because I thought at some point it actually was canceled. I thought at some point I read that this car was not going to get made, and sure enough, it actually did. So I can't confirm that this thing was temporarily canceled, but what I can confirm is this is a beautiful diecast, and I absolutely recommend it. If you're a Mark Martin fan, if you're a Roush Fenway fan, or you're just a NASCAR throwback type of guy, you like the old days of stock car racing, right here, guys, this is a diecast for you. Absolutely get it, man. Beautiful. Even if you don't know the history of this car, and you don't know the era of this car, you can still appreciate how beautiful it is. And man, just look at that retro mold. Oh my god, man. 93 was a great year for NASCAR bodies. Beautiful styling. My goodness. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Yes, thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss any of my new content. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you're having a great one. With all that being said, Diecastbuffet signing off.